invite you to take a good sitting position and sit tall. Press the sit bones into the floor. And turn in. Turn into your breath. Focusing. Centering. Watching the journey of your breath from nostrils all the way in and down into your lower abdomen and out again. I invite you to bring your hands to your heart if you wish. And to ground and center ourselves even more, we open with 3 ohms. Exhale. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Open my eyes, release the hands. Word of the day today is water. So these trees either side of me are real. They might look a little bit plasticky, but they actually are real. They're buxus, and normally they live outside the front doors of my house, but I decided I would try them as sort of a way of adding to the picture of the video. And so I was watering this morning, and of course, you know, because the water comes out over the saucer and goes under my mat, and then I lift the mat and I realised I really haven't cleaned for a while under the mat and so on, you know. So water is my word of the day, and it's related to the second chakra, Vadisthana. So if I get that right, Vadisthana. And the second chakra encourages us to reach out to people, to be the best potential of the person that you can possibly be. And water is associated with the second chakra. So water's, as we all know, cleansing, healing, and calming, really calming. So here we are with those qualities, plus the ability of the second chakra to reach out and communicate and to be the fantastic manifestation of yourself just as you are, without any change, not trying to change anything. So we're in a time of lockdown. It's difficult to reach out and to do what your second chakra really is genetically within us all, to socialize, to communicate, to be part of community. But when we're in the realm of water, water enables that. So even if you're not actually communicating and socializing with other people, connecting with yourself through the realm of water. So taking the intention of water onto your mat today in yoga, see if you can include a more flowing aspect to your practice. So moving with calmness, moving with agility, moving with fluidity through from the transitions from one pose to the next, minimizing the movements you don't need to move, and just being more focused on the transitions, on the flowing aspect of your life. So let's come on to our hands and knees, come into cat-cow, and flowing through your spine. Take that image into your spine. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Exhale, round your back up towards the ceiling. And inhale, lift your head, look up. Body following breath. Exhaling, rounding up. Inhaling, sinking down, softening. Exhaling, rounding up. Inhaling, sinking down. Keep that going and see if you can do 5 rounds with that. And don't forget, connect with your breath. Move when your breath moves. And don't rush it. Coming back to a place of stillness and thinking about your transition, moving with fluidity into tiger. Lift your right arm up and the opposite leg out. And I'm just going to move my mat a little bit. I'm too near my beautiful trees. Stretch tips of fingers away from tips of toes. Look out. Flare the toes of the foot that's on the floor. Press the top of the foot into the floor. And switching over onto the other side with a modicum of grace. And release. We're moving back into cat-cow, but this time we're lifting our knee off the floor to our forehead. So exhale, round up, lift your knee and bring it towards your forehead. Inhale, stretch your leg up behind, look up. And do that 5 times. Exhale, round up, knee to forehead, inhale, stretch out. And again, inviting grace into your practice. Release that knee to the floor and switching smoothly over onto the other side, stretch it out. Exhale, round up, knee to forehead. And release that knee to the floor. Walk your knees back 1 hand's pace. Turn your toes under and lift your hips up into down dog. First down dog of the day, and feel that wonderful stretch in the backs of your calves. So, paying attention to our foundations, press the hands into the floor, parallel your index fingers. Externally rotate your upper arms. Keep that, lifting your hips even higher. Invite your heels to come towards the floor. And if there's a micro bend in your knees, that's great because it enables you to turn your sit bones up. So that's what we're really looking for in this pose, creating a beautiful curve in your lower back. So we're going to just flow through a little sequence here. Step your right foot forward. Lift your torso up, lift your arms up. Exhale to the floor. Place your hands either side of your front foot and step back into plank. Down dog. Left foot forward into lunge, hands either side of front foot, lift arms up, look up. Lower to plank. Down dog. Don't forget to breathe. Right foot forward, line up fingernails with toenails, torso upright, high lunge. Plank. Down dog. High lunge, left foot forward. Plank. Last round, down dog. Right foot forward, high lunge. Plank. Down dog. Left foot forward, high lunge. Plank. And either down into chaturanga or plank on your elbows, yogi's choice. And release. Place your head on your hands and turn in and just let go. And come all the way back up to mountain. Squeeze your heels together. Press down equally with the four corners of your feet into the floor. Engage your core. Stretch from your hips to your armpits. Broaden across your collarbones. Stretch arms down, stretch fingers down, move ears back. Enjoy the full extent of your breath. Inhale your arms up and clasp your right biceps with your left hand. Move your hips to the right, your torso to the left, be as sideways as possible. Press down equally with both feet into the floor. Squeeze legs together, engage your glutes, be even more sideways. Inhale back up and switch to the other side. Feeling the beat of life flowing and thrumming through you this morning. How marvellous is that? Inhale back up and coming into power pose. Arms out in front, hands shoulder width apart. And invite the head of the bones back into the socket. So by moving them back like so, bend your knees, lower your hips. Sit back in your throne, back straight. And then moving into full forward fold. Line up your fingernails with your toenails. You might like to use blocks. Feet together, more difficult. Feet inner hip width apart, more doable. On the tips of your fingers, begin to press the backs of your knees away. Float your hips over your ankles. Bring your ribs to your thighs. Allow your head to drop. Walk hands forward, walk feet back, come into plank. Shoulders over wrists. Press down as if you're pressing the floor away from you. Engage your core, press through your heels, squeeze your ankles together. Lower your knees to the floor and come all the way down. Moving into Locust 2. Arms by your sides, turn your palms up. Feet together, ankles, shins, inner thighs. Inhale, lift legs off the floor, lift the arms off the floor. Turn thumbs up, lift head and shoulders up. Move ears back. And release. Come into squat. Kneeling toe crusher. Sit back on your heels. Inner heels together, inner big toes, knees together. And lower down onto your elbows and bring your forehead to your knees. Move back to standing, and we're back to crescent. Lift arms up, bring palms together. Move your hips to the right, your torso to the left, be as sideways as possible. Root down equally, both feet into the floor. Squeeze heels, shins, thighs together, engage your core. Tighten your glutes, be even more sideways. Inhale back up and switch. Inhale back to center and coming into power pose, hands band. Clasp your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, bend your elbows and place your thumb on your sacrum. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, that's what it looks like from behind. Keep that. Bend your knees, lower your hips, round your back, bring your forehead to your knees and stretch your arms up. Stretch your knuckles up, bring arms to vertical. Sit back or on throne. Inhale, press down, stand up, lower your hands either side of your feet, come into forward fold, allow your head to drop. Press the backs of your knees away. And come all the way down onto your belly and moving into locust hands band. Clasp your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Feet together, inner ankles, shins, thighs. Inhale, lift your legs off the floor, lift your arms off the floor. Lift your arms up as high as you can, head and shoulders. And release, and moving into another little flow. Come onto your feet. My hairband has a life of its own. It does not want to be attached to my head. Anyways, moving into twisted power pose. If you have a thing going on in your lower back, just don't push the twist. Just make it more gentle for yourself. So bend your knees, lower your hips. Bring your hands to your heart, as if in prayer. Then cross your body and bring your right elbow to your left knee. Press knee into elbow, elbow into knee, and then lining up knees with hips. Lift your top elbow up, roll that left shoulder back, ribs back. If it's available to you, line up your thumbs with your sternum. Sit back in your throne. And step your left foot back to the back of the mat. So you're still in the same pose, but it's lunge, twisted lunge. Look down at your front foot. And then still going with our flow thing this morning of water, place your hands either side of your front foot and lower down onto your knee at the back. Stretch your foot out behind, and then lowering down onto your elbows, or you might need blocks. Clasp your hands together. Press the top of your back foot into the floor. Front shin is vertical. And switching back to twisted power pose on the other side. Come all the way up to standing. Hands to your heart. Bend your knees, lower your hips, and this time bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Press knee into elbow, elbow into knee. Press top hand into bottom hand. Point top elbow at ceiling. Roll ribs back, roll shoulder back. Look down at front foot. Lower hands to floor, step left foot back, and then hands to your heart again, and bring your elbow to your knee into your elbow. Don't fall over like I've just done. Point your top elbow at the ceiling. Lift your back knee, the back of your back knee up. Look at the floor. Roll your ribs back, your shoulder back. Stretch front knee away from back heel. Lower to the floor, back knee to the floor, come down onto your hands, move your right foot out to the side and lower down onto your elbows. Front shin vertical, stretch your back knee out behind you. Come back to your hands and come all the way back up to mountain. Root down, expand out into the universe, yet planting yourself deep in the earth. and feeling the flow of life from the universe to the earth through you, through your breath, as you inhale and you exhale. Inhale, drawing it in, flowing down through your feet. As you exhale, circling around your back and back out through your nostrils, creating a flow of life within you. Moving into tree pose. Shift your weight onto your left foot and lift your right leg and wrap it around your left. See if you can take the double wrap. Lift the left arm and wrap the right underneath. Square your hips, your shoulders to the edge of the mat in front of you. Bend the knee of the foot that you're standing on. Sink down a little bit more. And switch to the other side. Take your weight onto your right leg and lift the left leg and wrap it around. Lift the right arm and wrap the left underneath. Press down, stand up. Moving into Warrior 2, step your feet wide apart. Line up the edges with the outside edges of your mat, the outside edges of your feet with the outside edges of your mat. Turn your right foot out. And then check your alignment. Is your front heel bisecting the arch of the back foot? Inhale your arms up, hands shoulder width apart. Bend your right knee, sink down. Move your right knee out in line with your second toe. Be careful not to lean over your front knee. Look out over your right hand arm and then sink down even more. Keep moving your front knee out. Press the outside edge of your back foot into the floor. Roll your left hip back, your left ribs back. Draw your right hip underneath. Lift your chin. Engage your biceps. Switch to the other side. Pivot your right foot in, pivot your left foot out, bend your front knee. Check your alignment. Sink down. Press down, stand up, and pivot your left foot in, pivot your right foot out, and turn towards the short end of your mat and step your feet together. You might wish to use blocks for the next pose. We're moving into reverse Mudra. Inhale your arms up, hands shoulder width apart. Step forward with your right foot and turn your back foot out just a tad. Square your hips, your shoulders to the front of the mat. Inhale, stretch up, exhale, hinge forward and place your hands either on the floor or on blocks, or if that's not happened for you, just bring your hands to your shin or to your knee. And keeping that, draw your right hip back, your left hip forward, and then hinging forward, invite your chin to come to your shin. If it's available to you, walk your hands even further back. Inhale, press down, stand up, switch feet. Back foot forward, front foot back. Square towards the front of the mat. Inhale, arms up, hinge forward, place your hands where it's suitable for you. Draw your left hip back, your right hip forward. Press down with your hands, step your feet together, walk to the back of the mat and moving into half moon. I like to use a block in this. So, as I said the other night on another video, you could use a tin of beans if you haven't got a block or a book. Inhale your right arm up and step forward with your right foot, bend your right knee, lean forward, place your hand on the block or on the floor. Lift your back leg simultaneously up behind you. Turn the outside edge of your foot up towards the ceiling. Line up heel with hip. Inhale, roll your left hip back, your left ribs back, and lift your top arm up to vertical, or keep it on your hip, more doable. Flare the toes of the stand of both feet actually. Press down into the floor with the hand and the foot, press the floor away from you. Inhale, press down, stand up and switch to the other side. There's my hairband, off having a life of its own. Inhale your arm up, step forward with your left foot, bend your left knee, lean forward, place your hand on the block. Simultaneously lift your back leg out behind you, straighten, strengthen the standing leg. Inhale your top arm up to vertical, look up. Press through the heel of the right leg, engage your quads, roll hip back, roll ribs back. Come back to your breath. And if you fall out of this pose, how fascinating. Fall down 6 times, get up 7. Warrior 3, walk to the back of your mat. Inhale your arms up. Clasp your hands together, point your index fingers. Step forward with your right foot, bend your right knee, lean forward and lift your back leg off the floor. Flex and point it. Engage your core, stretch out in front. Inhale, press down, stand up, walk to the back of the mat and do it all over again. Lift your arms up, step forward with your left foot, bend your knee, lean forward, stretch your back leg out behind you, flex and point it. Careful to point your back knee at the floor. And release. And moving to down dog, place your hands on the floor, step back. Hands wider than shoulders, grip the floor at your fingertips. And then pivot your ankles to the right and stack your left ankle on top of your right ankle. Either place your hand on your hip or lift your top arm to vertical. Press the sole of the right foot towards the floor. Lift your hips even higher. And press the right hand into the floor, press the floor away from you. Engage your quads, tighten your glutes. And of course, more doable as you lift your left foot halfway up the front of the mat and place it there, so whichever works for you. And then come through down dog and over onto the other side. I'll just do it at the other end of the mat so I'm not turning my back away from you. Pivot to the left, stack your right ankle on top of your left, lift your top arm up, press the floor away from you. Press the sole of the left foot into the floor. And release. And coming into half boat. Okay. Bend the knees. Clasp your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. Keep that, lean back slightly. More doable. Just lift the tips of your toes off the floor. Stretch your spine, look up. More difficult, stretch your legs up. And release. Sense the relief of the release in your bodies. But the next pose is always coming. Place your hands behind you, walk your hands back. Stretch your feet out. Bend your knees, lift your hips off the floor. Come to here. Stay here, more doable, more difficult. Stretch your feet out. Float your shoulders over your wrists or in that direction. Squeeze your inner shins, your inner ankles. Tighten your glutes, look up. Gently come down out of that pose. And moving into child's pose, come onto your knees. And this time stretch your arms behind you, turn your palms up. Sit back on your heels, head to the floor. Turn in. Turn into the second chakra, which is situated way down deep in your lower abdomen, and focusing on your kidneys, on the water element of your body, which are higher up. And a colour you might like to visualize is yellow. Yellow is the colour of the second chakra. Recline pigeon. Come and lie on your back. Stretch your left leg out. Curl your right knee in. And then baby cradle your right foot into the crook of the left arm and your knee into the crook of the right arm. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is to hook your forearms around your shin and hold them like that. So here's the thing, there should be no torquing on your knee at all. Move out of it, let the shin away from you if your knee is torqued. Just be where you are in your body. There's no point in torquing your knees, not doing any of this. We're here, we're working on the hips. And release, stretch your right leg out, curl your left knee in, clasp the sole of the foot and place it in the cradle of the right arm. And release. And moving into twisted monkey, come onto your hands and knees and step your right foot forward. Take your weight on your left hand, reach back with the other hand and clasp the foot behind. Move your left hand forward, move your hips forward, walk your right foot forward, then roll your hips back, your ribs back, and look up. Bend your top elbow pointed at the ceiling. Lift your chest, broaden across your collarbones. Release that foot. Place your hand back on the floor. Step your right foot back, your left foot forward. Weight on your right hand. Then reach back with the other hand and clasp the ankle of the foot that's on the floor. Walk your right hand forward, move your hips forward and down. Roll your left ribs back, your left shoulder back. Lift your chest, look up. And then moving into crouching warrior, I'll face you so you can see what's going on. So stepping your right foot forward, front shin is vertical. Place your right hand on the outside of your right foot. I'll have to creep forward a little bit because I have no room to stretch out. Then stretch your back leg out behind you. Bend your elbows, lower your chest down. Either keep your knee on the floor, more doable, more difficult, lift your knee off the floor, lower closer to the floor with your shoulders. Press through your heel of your back foot, stretch your front knee away from you. Gently release and switch to the other side. Left foot forward, lift your hand and place it on the outside of your front foot, lift your back leg off the floor, lower down. Release your way out of that and move into bridge. Come and lie on your back. Bend your knees. Place your heels under your hips. If you have a block, now you get to have a little bit of a pause. Press down with your feet into the floor. Press down with your elbows into the floor. Fingers pointing towards the ceiling. Inhale. Lift your hips off the floor and take your block and place it under your sacrum. Or if you haven't got a block, press down with your heels, press down with your elbows, press down with your shoulders, walk your arms in underneath, clasp your hands together, interlace your fingers. And then stretching your knees away from your shoulders, lift your chin out of your chest, press your heels into the floor, lift your hips even higher. Release your block and roll your spine down vertebrae by vertebrae, feeling how good that feels. Bring both knees into your chest and give yourself a delicious squeezy hug. Roll gently from side to side. And prepare yourself for relaxation, but we're going to do a few minutes of diaphragmatic belly breathing first. So if you need to get a blanket, put something on you because you know you'll cool down. And so lying down, stretch your legs out, stretch your arms out. Begin to Lengthen out your breathing. And moving into the home pose for diaphragmatic breathing, bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips. And walk your feet out towards the long edges of the mat. Allow your knees to come together. And place your hands on your lower abdomen. Palms facing down. Index fingers pointing towards your pubic bone, thumbs pointing towards your navel. And if your hands overlap, that's fine. And just take a number of ordinary breaths here for one moment. Feeling the sensations in your body post-practice. And now, as your breath comes back towards normal, focusing just on the abdominal area. So we know now minimal movement in the upper chest, minimal movement in the rib cage, and the movement that you feel under the palms of your hands should be caused only by breath alone, not through any movement of muscles on your part. So in your own time, exhale and inhale and take 10 breaths just into this region with minimal movement of the upper chest and ribs. As you inhale, the lower abdominal area expands. As you exhale, it contracts, moves back towards your spine. Focusing intently on the breathing. Making your next exhalation your last exhalation, return to normal breathing. Keeping your feet and legs where they are, lift your arms behind you, place them on the floor. Again, if you need to put them on a cushion to stop them waving around in the wind. And in your own time, still breathing into the lower abdominal area, take 10 breaths. Make your next exhalation your last exhalation. Return to normal breathing. And return your hands, your arms to the home pose. Place palms on the lower belly. Knees are still bent and leaning towards each other. And take another 10 breaths. Lower abdominal area only. Your next exhalation, return to normal breathing. And this time, stretch your arms out behind you, turn your palms towards each other. Stretch your legs out and walk your feet wide away from each other. And once again, we take another 10 breaths into the abdominal area only. Long, slow breaths. Noticing perhaps you begin to cool down. You might even be feeling a little tired or yawny. It's a sure sign that our nervous system is calming down. And return to the home pose. Take 5 normal breaths. Returning to the home pose, place palms of hands on lower abdominal area, bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips, lean your knees together, and take another 10 breaths. Make your next exhalation your last exhalation, and return to normal breathing. And move now into relaxation. Stretch arms out, stretch legs out. You might want to take 1 or 2 deep breaths and just sigh it out, releasing into the floor, melting down. Deep rest. Begin to deepen your breathing. You can stay here or start to awaken your hands, your feet, moving them. Perhaps give yourself a stretch. When you're ready, bend your knees, roll to one side and make your way to sitting. I invite you to bring your hands to your heart one last time to honour ourselves, each other, the practice, and to remember how cleansing water is in our lives. We close with one Om. Exhale, inhale. Thanks for practicing, thanks for coming to practice, and see you on the mat. And if you like this practice on YouTube, do give me a like, share. Yeah, that's great. See you soon.